We are back. Sasquatch Watch Radio, which I've been told I'm going to have to change to Sasquatch Watch TV, according to Steve Cole. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. That means I have to change the logo, which stinks. So, but anyway, hopefully everyone can hear me okay. We've got a new microphone here, so we'll see how this is going to work out tonight. But I appreciate everybody coming back. Let me open up and make sure that we have. Look at here, we already got one little Kilroy's here. That's great. So hopefully more people will start piling in, and they'll start commenting for us and see how many folks we can get in here. So appreciate everyone that shows up now live. There may be some that listen to the recording, and that's fine as well. But anyway, we got a great show tonight. We are going to welcome our guest, Mr. Eric ALTMAN. It's good to have you back on the show and see you again, Eric.
Thanks for having me, Billy. It's great to be back on Sasquatch Watch Radio /TV.
Yeah. Who knows? Just have to change the logo. But yeah, it's good to have you back. I mean, we've had a lot of history together.
Oh my yes.
A lot of good times.
Oh my yes. Yeah, I was just watching some of the pictures that you were showing in your intro, and I see that I'm included in a good number of them. And that brought back some memories.
Done a lot, Washington trip was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some other trip. I mean, there's just been so much. It's good to go back down memory lane sometimes. So I was going through all them photos, and it was just bringing it back all kinds of memories. So,
oh yeah, we had a great time going to Washington State and going to the Bob Gimlin tribute event, and getting to see some of the mountains and tromp around the woods in Cougar, Washington, and going to Roger Patterson's grave site. And, good time.
It certainly was. And I remember, that very road that we traveled on. I remember not long after we were there, I guess got all washed out from a flood.
Yeah.
I remember. So lots of things change, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sure many people probably remember, because when you used to do the East Coast Bigfoot Conference in Pennsylvania, I remember coming to quite a few of those.
Yeah, we had you speak at a couple of them, and many years ago, from 2000 to 2011, we held the event. And as a matter of fact, interesting little side note, Pitzer's, the building that I used to hold the event in, was just donated to the city of Jeannette, Pennsylvania, and they are planning to either renovate the building or raise the building. But it's good to see Pitzer's in the news again. They sold that building, closed it down, about 10 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
So, hopefully they'll be able to renovate it and open it up again for business, because they had some great wings and great food in that place.
Yeah, I remember. It was just a good location. So I really miss those days. Those are great. It's good to see you again, Grasshopper. I remember those night caller radio days, but because you and I were doing a radio show at the same time on Blog Talk, it was all audio. Remember all the problems.
I remember being
Eric,
on.
You remember?
Oh yeah. I remember being on Night Callers Radio back in the day, and that was a fun show. I had a good time doing that too. But yeah, Blog Talk Radio, so many problems starting out. Oh
yeah.
What headaches.
Yeah, but at least they got a lot of it. They got a lot of it toward the end when we were doing it. Got a lot of it worked out when they added the online calling and stuff like that. But yeah, we remember those too, Grasshopper. Yeah, here, I'll put that up. Yeah.
Always.
Hey, Randy, good to see you. Good to see you on. Now, I'm not sure who this is because it just says Facebook user. Apparently, Facebook won't put their name up, so you might have to type in who you are so that we know who you are.
It's probably one of my many adoring fans.
Oh, we both got adoring fans.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Eric, the main reason we wanted to get you on here is I was highly impressed with this camping adventure that you've got coming up in September. September 6th and September 7th of 2024. It's called the Bigfoot Camping Adventure, and I've already looked through here. You've got some excellent guest speakers showing up and some excellent special guests showing up that I know everybody knows who these people are. So tell me what brought you to decide to put this together?
Well, as you mentioned, I organized and co-hosted and co-organized and co-hosted the East Coast Bigfoot Conference at Pittsburgh from 2000 to about 2011, and decided to take a much needed break from doing event organizing. 2016 came around, and at the time there wasn't a lot of events that got people into the field. There was the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. People went on hikes, and of course there was the Bigfoot Adventure weekends over in Ohio that Jesse and Alan from Fathom Frontiers put on, and Sharon Lee, and that was a really impressive event. I was very impressed by it, but I thought maybe I can take what they do one step further and bring in guest speakers, maybe bring in some special guests from the celebrity side of things, and give people the opportunity to learn what it's like to go into the field and hunt, look for Bigfoot, and look for tracks, and just have that experience, and to hear from people that have researched for years, if not decades, and get their hands on for workshops like making casts or what equipment to use or how FLIRs work. So basically giving the novice the chance to learn about the subject and get out there and do hands-on. And we did the first event in 2016, I think it was. Yeah, 2016, we did the first event. And surprisingly, it was a pretty successful event I think we had maybe 4 or 5 speakers and no special guests. Well, I take that back. We had Trapper from Mountain Monsters come in. I met Trapper at Creature Weekend, and we had him come in. And we had a huge crowd. And it went really well, very successful. We raised about $3,000 for the charities in southwestern PA. And people loved it. So 2017, we did a second one. We grew in size. We had a crowd of over 500 people show up. Had added on to the guest speakers, added on some of the celebrities. We have the Mountain Monsters crew come in, and we continue to grow. And 2019 was our biggest year yet. We had Cliff Barrickman come in, Ken Gerhard, Jeff Meldrum, the Mountain Monster guys. We had great speakers like Steve Calls, Brian Parsons, Jay Bachochin, Stan Gordon, Ron Murphy, Dave Spinks, David Weatherly, just to mention a few. And we had other great speakers. Rick Fisher was there. We had a great turnout. We had almost 1,000 people that weekend come out for the event. And we raised money for charities, and it was pretty successful. And I planned on doing one in 2021. Unfortunately, COVID set in and kind of wiped everything off the map. So I took some time off to let everything settle down, and was going to do it again in 2023. We had plans to do it in 2023, and unfortunately, things didn't work out with Benner's Campground and their owners that they had at that time. So we pulled the plug on it. New owners bought Benner's in 2024 or 2023, excuse me, and reached out to us this past summer and said, hey, we want to have you come back. And I didn't know that they had brand new owners. So after talking with the new owners and seeing how gung-ho they were into it, and they had a ton of positive feedback from the event, people wanting it to come back. So I said, sure, I'll give it a shot, and started organizing in August. Reached out to some of the past speakers, some new speakers, and everybody was on board. I had people writing me, asking me to come and speak at the event. And unfortunately, being it's an only 2-day event, we don't have enough room for everybody that wanted to come out and speak. But so far, everything has gone really smoothly as far as organizing and getting the event information out there. People seem excited about it. There seems to be a positive buzz in the air. We're going to have another great weekend, Friday and Saturday, September 6th and 7th of 2024. Right now, we have over 50 vendors. We've got 4 food trucks. We've got Ken Gerhard coming back from The Proof Is Out There, Missing in Alaska. Gosh, he's been on so many TV shows, The Unexplained, Monster Quest, you name it, you see Ken Gerhard everywhere. Yeah. And he's one of my favorite cryptozoologists in the field, a good friend of mine, a very dear, humble human being that I can't say enough good things about Ken, and he's agreed to come back, and I'm so excited to have Ken coming back. We've got Jeff Headley and Willie McQuillan coming back from the Mountain Monsters show from the Ames team. As soon as they saw the event go up, they hit me up and said, hey, we want to come back. So those guys are coming back. And Ronnie LeBlanc from Expedition Bigfoot, which is on Discovery, he reached out to me and said he wants to be a part of it. So that's humbling in itself to have, somebody the caliber of Ronnie wanting to be part of the event. So he's going to be part of it. We did have Ron Moorhead as part of the lineup, but unfortunately Ron's schedule kind of conflicted and he wasn't able to make it. So he had to back out. But we have a great lineup of speakers. We have 8 great guest speakers coming back. We've got Stan Gordon, Jay Pachochin, Dave Spinks, Ron Murphy. We've got Kenny Biddle. We've got Rick Fisher. Brian Parsons is going to be there. So we've got 8 great guest speakers. I hope I didn't miss anybody because there's so many wonderful people to name. We've got Dave Wickham from Ohio, BFRO member, event organizer in his own right. Everybody knows him as Taters. He's going to be doing a workshop. And Brian Bowden is going to be there as well. Let me move my cat. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
Brian Bowden from New Jersey's coming over. He's appeared on several of Seth Breedlove's documentary films and has his own radio show. He's going to be there. It's going to be a great time. We're doing it for charity once again. And we're hoping to raise some money as well as educate the public. And most importantly, for everybody to have a good time. That's what it's all about, is to enjoy the event, get outdoors, learn to do some Bigfooting, have fun. And as the tagline says, it's the adventure of a lifetime. So those people who have never been to one or have always wanted to go Bigfooting, or even those experienced, come on out, join us. There's no drama. Everybody gets along. We all have a blast. And to show you how well people enjoy it, the last 2 years in 2017 and 2019, it rained those weekends, and we still had huge crowds come out for the event. So it's a lot of fun. People enjoy it. They enjoy the camaraderie. They enjoy the speakers, the special guests. Everything's one-on-one. There's no waiting in lines for hours to talk to somebody. You can mingle, hang out. And even if you don't want to hear the guest speakers, there's 50 plus vendors that you can go check out, and it has all kinds of neat stuff to buy and support. So if anybody wants to get tickets, you can go to our website, which is PA Bigfoot Camping Adventure.com, and get your tickets. There's still plenty of tickets on sale, and they'll be selling all the way up to September at the event. Yep.
Yeah. Now, do you know, or has Brian and David mentioned to you what they're going to do in their workshops?
David is going to do a tracking workshop and show people how to cast tracks, how to take proper measurements, the tools and items needed to measure out a trackway. So if you're a novice and you don't have that experience, or you want to learn more about how to properly cast a track or measure, or how to rule out common animals, he's going to teach that. Okay. And I'm not quite sure what Brian's settled on yet. He threw me a couple of ideas, but he hasn't given me a confirmed workshop topic that he's going to be presenting, but I know it'll be good.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And then of course your special guests, Ken Gerhard. Now those guys, are they going to be speaking at all, or are they just going to be there to kind of shake hands and do autographs? And
well, when we had Ken in 2019, Ken was there just to kind of sign books, meet the public, answer questions, and he's like, I want to speak. So Ken is going to speak this year. He's actually a special guest and a speaker. And Ronnie LeBlanc is offered to speak too. So he's going to be a special guest and a speaker. So we've got 10 guest speakers for the 2 days. So it's going to be huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So let me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this for everybody that wants to get tickets. Let me put this up here. I think that'll go up there. There we go. And I'll put it right there. So there's where you go to get the tickets. And then, of course, if you want to just learn more about the event, you just leave the tickets off of it and just go straight to the main website. Yeah, the website is nicely done. I'm assuming you had some help with this website because it's pretty nice.
Nope.
You did it all. Wow.
I did it all myself. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not a webmaster or web designer, but I just kind of threw it together myself and just put the pertinent information out there. And if I can add two things about this that makes this event special, this is a charity fundraiser event. So once our expenses for the event are paid, any proceeds after that are being donated to two local charities.
Nice.
One of them is in Fayette County. It's called One Voice, One Community, which helps underprivileged children. And the money that's being donated to them is going to help underprivileged children attend summer camp.
Okay.
The other one is an animal shelter called Fayette Friends of Animals, and they help rescued animals and get them adopted and stuff. So, and you know
nice.
me, I've got 6 dogs and 2 cats, so I kind of have a soft spot for animals.
Yeah, and I know you've lost some too.
Yeah, unfortunately, but
yeah, it's like losing a family member.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to mention too about the event, and then we can talk about whatever you want. The area where the event is taking place at Benner's Meadow Run RV Campgrounds is in Fayette County on the Chestnut Ridge in southwestern Pennsylvania, and it is right in a Bigfoot hotspot.
Yeah,
and I can't begin to tell you. I'm sure you know because you've shared some cases with me. There have been so many sightings around that area, probably within miles of the campgrounds over the years. It's just unreal, and there still continues to be activity.
Well, everybody I know has heard of Chestnut Ridge. I mean, you can hear that said on just about every Facebook page that's in Pennsylvania. It's talked about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a hot spot. I remember when we went out there. I actually got reminded of it. Remember that time we all went out there by the railroad?
Yep. Don't fall in the hole.
Don't fall in the hole, Phil.
Yep.
That was some good times. Yeah, he actually is the one that reminded me of that. He goes, wasn't you there? I said, yes, I was.
Yep.
I said, because you were grabbing on my chair, breaking my chair, trying to get out of the hole.
Yeah, Sean Forker was there. We had a lot of people there from the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, but that was a good time. And this area actually where the event's taking place is further south in Fayette County. Mm-hmm. So it's on the southern end of the ridge near the West Virginia state line.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when we were there, we were walking down that well, not on the train track, but we were walking alongside the train track, and I believe it was Sean that had a rock thrown out of the woods that landed like right in front of him. He saw the rock come out of the woods, and we all stood there and was just looking, trying to figure out, how that had, there was nothing there. We didn't see a thing, didn't hear a thing. Yeah,
that area is known as Gray Station. And during the 1980s, Dr. Paul Johnson, who was a Bigfoot researcher in southwestern PA, I think he's retired, but he had investigated over 14 sightings along that stretch of railroad tracks in Gray Station. And over the years, PBS members have investigated it and staked it out. And people still do today, because if you remember when we were up there, all the dead deer carcasses that lay on the side of the train tracks, because they try to cross the train tracks and get hit by a train. And it's basically a deer smorgasbord for any predator to come in and have a free meal.
Yeah. It's you guys have a whole lot of nice places up there. One thing I've always liked about Pennsylvania is you have a lot of nice state parks, and probably more so than Virginia. I mean, Virginia, I just feel, is just lacking in a lot of areas, other than along the, Skyline Drive and the Blue Ridge Parkway. You have camping and areas up there, but we just don't have as many places in Virginia as you have in Pennsylvania. So hopefully Virginia will change it one of these days. But you know, the other thing I was going to ask you. So you're going to have, folks, if y'all never been to one of these events, one of the other highlights is some of the vendors that show up. Because you'll probably have, people giving away books, or selling books, probably maybe even some footprint casts and things of that sort, maybe figurines or whatever. So if you're looking for your what do you call it, Bigfoot charms, I guess that's the place to show up and get those. And then food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best food, believe it or not, are in those trucks. I have, we right here near where I live at, there are so many people that go to these. We have a lot of the little like the taco stands and the trucks and stuff. Way better than the restaurants. Mm-hmm. I mean, just by far. And so a lot of those guys that do those food trucks have some of the best food that you can get.
Yeah, we got a lot of compliments at the event in 2019 for the food trucks we had come in. People love the food. And right now we have 3 food vendors. We're hoping to add 1 or 2 more to the event. So it's going to be good food for everybody to eat. The couple of days we're going to be there, and a lot of really cool vendors, not just Bigfoot related items, but all kinds of crafts. And I've got a couple of people that make like homemade soaps and natural items. I got a woman coming in that does different types of natural bug repellent, something that Bigfooters certainly could use when we're out in the woods. So we have a little bit of everything. It's not just Bigfoot related vendors. We do have plenty of those, but we've got crafts and artwork and artists and sculptors and pretty much everything. We're going to cover the gamut. Not to mention all the speakers are going to have books available and their items for sale, and the special guests will be there with their books and items to sell. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you were looking for something to give that Bigfoot enthusiast friend that or family member that this is the place to come to. Yeah, it's always been a good time, and I know that I had been there before. There's great camping sites there, so it's just a good time all around. You get to meet people that you may have only seen on social media, or whatever. So it's almost like a family reunion too, because you get to meet the people that you talk to on a regular basis. So all of that stuff is just a great time. Yeah, and when the event ends, we've got night hikes on Friday night and Saturday night for ticket holders. We're going to take them into an area not far from the campgrounds that's had activity and sightings. And we also have a DJ that's going to be doing Sasquatch karaoke. So I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, if you like to sing and party and dance, both Friday night and Saturday night, we're going to have Sasquatch karaoke, and then at the main pavilion where we're having the main event, we're going to have a couple of Sasquatch movies shown for the public that don't want to do the karaoke or don't want to go on the hikes. So there's something for everybody. Yeah, I for one love doing karaoke, so I'll be hanging out over there, I think. Well, I'm really hoping that you're going to come join us, because there's a lot of people, Billy, that would love to see your face. Well, I'm thinking about it. So don't rule me out. So I just don't think I'll be able to get the wife to come. So yeah, we miss Janine, but hey, if you can make it up, there'll be a lot of happy people. Yeah, well, we'll see. I will definitely let you know. I'll have to get Steve to twist your arm. Yeah, he will. He seems to be pretty good at that. Yeah, he talked you into coming back for Sasquatch Radio. So. Oh man. So yeah, I think we've covered quite a bit there in the camping adventure. So now let's talk a little bit about, what have you been doing lately? Have you got any good sightings that you've been doing, or any reports? Or well, I still run the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, although things have kind of been slow there for a little while. But I do a lot of research with Stan Gordon. I'm in the field with him quite a bit, and my research partner and sidekick, Tom Mihawk, and I hit the woods almost every weekend. We go out with my family, my sister and brother-in-law, Connie and Chris, and we hit a certain area in the Chestnut Ridge we've been researching for about 2 years now that's had some really crazy Bigfoot activity and strange lights and just all kinds of weird paranormal activity going on in this area. But as far as cases go, I've had several that I've looked into and investigated. And Christmas Day this past year, one of the witnesses called me on the phone 10 o'clock in the morning, Christmas morning, is like, guess what I found? Look what I found. And he sent me pictures. He took his dog for a walk Christmas morning down. He owns farm property, and he was walking down the county lane and just happened to come across a large 16-inch footprint that something stepped off the gravel road right into the mud. And the dog started sniffing the air and looking around, and right down in the ravine to his left, just off the gravel road, he began hearing something growling at him and grunting, and the dog wanted to go back to the house and literally pulled him up the driveway back to his house. And he went inside and called me Christmas morning. Here I am, with the kids and the family. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I got to take this call. It's Bigfoot. So I talked to him, but his family owns property on the northern end of the Chestnut Ridge, actually further north than where you and I were, and Phil Brocco and Sean Forker. And beginning in 2008, Easter Sunday of 2008, they watched a female Bigfoot walk across the farm field while looking at it from their dining room window. They just watched it kind of just nonchalantly walk across the hill and disappear into a lower set of trees below the farm property. And from that point forward, they began having almost, as he claimed, weekly, nightly visits from something, whether it was wood knocks, howls or screams, sightings, and it kind of boiled over into February of last year. We actually spent some time on his property, Stan and I and Tom Mihawk, and his wife had a sighting. They don't have indoor plumbing. They have an outdoor outhouse. So 7 o'clock in the morning, she went out to use the outhouse, and she had to walk maybe 30 feet to the outhouse. And just as she stepped off the porch, she watched a Bigfoot walk across the ridge just right up the hill from their house, carrying a dead deer over its shoulder. And she was no more than 25, 30 yards from it. And it never noticed her, never looked at her, but she just kind of stood there frozen and ran back in the house and refused to go back out to the outhouse. And keeping in touch with him, like I said, he's had ongoing activity since we've talked to him. And we're hoping to get up there this spring when weather warms up and spend a couple nights up on his farm and see if we can't stir something up. Nice.
That'll be nice. We got a Facebook user asking you a question here, Eric.
It's because I'm old. It's two-part.
Look.
Yeah, I know. It's because I'm old, and it's because I've been dealing with Bigfoot crap for the past 27 years.
Yeah, so if he takes his hat off, he's lost his hair over it too.
Yeah, I used to have brown hair, believe it or not. I used to have a full set of hair, but that all fell out. And I blame Bigfoot, and I blame the Bigfoot community, and this is what you have to deal with.
Exactly. Which is probably one of the reasons we all take a big break.
Amen, brother. No, but I've been kind of sitting on the sidelines from the Bigfoot community. I really don't do much with the community anymore. I kind of do my own thing under the radar with Stan and a very, very small group of people. And to be honest with you, I'm happier that way because I don't have to worry about people fighting and arguing and the drama, unnecessary drama. I just do my own thing. And there's enough of that already goes on here in Pennsylvania. So I steer clear of it. I go in the woods with the small group. We don't fight. We don't argue. We all get along. And I'm happiest that way. There's no unnecessary drama.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could officially call me an armchair researcher because, I got 7 cameras around the property just kind of watching since I live, up here on the mountain around the woods, I figure I got a better chance of catching one on the cameras while I'm sitting in my recliner.
Well, I've seen some of the bear that you've captured on your video cameras. They're pretty brazen and bold. I'll say that.
They
much.
are. They are. All right. Here's another Facebook user.
Nope. Not scared of ticks at all. At 27 years in the woods, I have never picked a tick off of me. And watch the next time I go out, I'll get covered. But,
yeah.
But
I've
never had ticks on me. I've been very fortunate. I always check myself, and I put either DEET on or tick spray or Skin So Soft, something like that. But I've never had an issue. Other people have gotten ticks on them, but what's that commercial? Ain't no bugs on me.
Right. No, if I get anything, I get chiggers. I'd rather have a tick, I think, than have those chiggers. Man, them things are something.
Yeah, I've come across bear, rattlesnake, copperheads, coyote, some predators out there in the woods, but I've never come across the tick. I've been lucky.
Yeah,
really lucky.
I think the scariest thing that our first trip that I had taken down to Northeast Texas. I think the scariest thing I heard in the woods was a bunch of wild pigs, a bunch of wild hogs getting in a fight, and they were close. And we had already been told by the forest rangers, when you get out to the site, find a tree that you can climb, so they kind of put that in your head, find a tree that you can climb. Well, I completely understand why you want to find a tree. So I knew that I was going to outrun Tom Lancaster to get to a tree. I knew that. So
good old Tom. I will never take directions from Tom again. Never.
Yeah, we were talking. I can't remember who I was talking to. We were talking about that the other day. We were just laughing and laughing because, it's like the guys out there and y'all are just like, just cruising on up on his property.
Yeah. Well, for people that don't know the story, I went down to Virginia to spend a weekend with Billy and some other researchers. He had a big expedition and went down, and supposedly there was a sighting on this gas line property, a public gas line. And Tom said he knew how to get there. So I'm driving the vehicle, and Tom's like, yeah, just make a turn here and go down this driveway. We saw no signs that said, no trespassing or permit signs or nothing like that. So we made the turn, start driving down this private road that we didn't know was a private road. And I'm waving out the window at people on their tractors in the front yards. Hey, how you doing, buddy? We get out to the gas line, and we looked around for about an hour or so and decided to head out. And we're on the way back to the campsite where you had staged up. And we get pulled over by one of the sheriffs out there. And he said, you guys know you were trespassing out there on this private property and they called the police on you? And I'm like, no. Unfortunately, Tom jumped in the conversation and is like, sorry, officer, we didn't know it was private property. And he talked our way out of a ticket. But yeah, it was pretty scary.
I'll put it this way. Everybody, Eric was done at that point. He folded up his tent and went home.
Yep. I was so worried they were going to come back and arrest us for trespassing. I was like, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going back to Pennsylvania. It's safer up there. I know my way around.
Tom's good for getting you lost too. You got to be careful.
Well, if you run into Tom,
he can read a topo map.
That's a good thing. But if you see Tom, tell him I said hello.
Yeah, I don't see him too often now that he's working for the feds. I hardly ever get to see him anymore.
Oh, so, go figure. There you go.
Yeah, But yeah, good times. That was such a fun time, out there, because we had, I think on that one expedition, we had 5 or 6 groups up there. Yeah, and all getting along.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a good time.
Yeah.
I know Gary's in there. He's the Facebook user. Gary remembers we were back there. I remember we were back there in I can't remember who it was. I was with somebody else. And we had our FLIR thermal imager. And Gary gets on the radio. I mean, everything's nice and quiet. And we keep seeing something on the FLIR.
Yeah, I was with you.
Was it you who was with me?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And he goes, you know, he's got that Southern accent like I do. He's like, no, it wasn't Gary that said it. It was, he's going to say his name here in a minute in chat. I can't, Tommy. Tommy gets on the radio and he goes, Billy, there's a big black cat heading in your direction. And at that point, I was like, okay. Bigfoot's fine. I don't know that I want to see the cougar, the panther.
Yeah, I remember sitting out there in the bushes with you, and we were watching something on the FLIR, and we couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, those some good times.
Mm-hmm.
And I still talk occasionally. I'll call Allison. Apparently, Allison has something for me, and I keep telling her that when I'm in the area, I'm gonna pick it up and bring it to the geologist to look at. But whatever it is, she said it looks like it's petrified. So I got to stop by there one day and see what she's got and bring it to the guys at the office and see if they know what it is. Interesting stuff.
Do you remember the time, Billy, that you and I were at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, and we had gone up to what's now known as Bigfoot Ridge?
I do.
And
yeah.
We were standing in the big circular area right at the edge of the tree line, and we were hearing something coming up the hill towards us, and it was creeping and crawling and creeping and crawling. And yep. I can't remember who had the flashlight, but you and I were being really quiet, and we were hunkered down waiting for this thing to come up over the top of the ridge there. And somebody shined the flashlight on us just as it was about to crest that hill, and it scared the animal down the hill. And we were like, "Oh my god!" We were so close to seeing something.
It was whoever the guy was. It was with Abe. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
We're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, we were like, "Turn the damn light off." He's like, "I didn't know you were over there." Something was coming at us, and we didn't know what it was, and we were just seconds away from seeing it, and he blew that chance.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah, it always seems to happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another place that we had a good time at, was over in Salt Fork.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of good memories from Salt Fork.
I won't name any names, but do you remember that? Do you remember that instance where someone got a little angry? I can't remember what had happened. They got scared or something. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure the full story, but he got mad and he had a big knife. He stabbed the picnic table with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't remember who that was. He was like,
"Oh, I remember who it was without naming names."
Oh, you'll have to tell me off air. I remember that.
Oh,
yeah, he was pretty worked up, and he was like, I'm not afraid of you," and just rammed that knife into the picnic table. Oh goodness. That's back in the Don Keating days before Mark took over. And before it became the big operation that it is now. But we had so much fun going to those.
Yeah. Have you talked to Don lately?
No, I haven't seen Don since David Wickham's last was it Sasquatch Triangle event 2 years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the last time I'd seen Don. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's still showing up at events and still around.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know he had left there to go, I guess, do weather.
That was one of his hobbies. Yeah, he has a hobby doing weather reporting, and he's really good at it. Yeah. He should be a meteorologist.
I was going to say, maybe he needs to take over some of the national guys because they can't forecast 5 seconds ahead. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, we've had some great times. I'm trying to think of some of the other places we went to. I remember, I don't think you were with us though. We had went to what was their name? The Dundors.
Oh, Pat and Earl Dundor.
Pat and Earl. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think me and Tom had went up with them. Were you with us? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I can't. I know we were way up in upstate Pennsylvania.
No, that's one event that I actually wasn't able to make.
Okay.
You were there with Kelly and I think
yes,
Porker was there and some other people.
Yeah. That was a good time. Now that's got a story too, and again, it involves Tom Lancaster.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if I ever told you the story, but I'll tell the story because it's hilarious. So me and Tom decided to borrow my uncle's motorcycle trailer, and we towed that up. And so instead of putting up a tent, we were just going to put our cots in that motorcycle trailer. Just leave the back down, the door open. To get a breeze and so it wouldn't get too hot. So we were camping out there one night, and in the middle of the night, I was awakened because the trailer started shaking. So I opened my eyes, and there's enough moonlight there to where you could see. So I opened my eyes, and I'm looking back, and I'm seeing this huge black bear walking up in the back of the trailer.
Uh-oh.
Now Tom is over here in the other cot sleeping, and his bare feet are sticking out of the blanket.
Oh no.
The bear literally comes up and starts sniffing his feet and actually lick his feet.
Oh my God.
And I'm over here like, I don't know if I want to laugh or if I want to I didn't want to startle the bear. So I was like, I'm just going to lay here and be really still. Let's see what happens here. But, it didn't even wake him up. So the next morning when I told him, I think he thought I was just making something up. But that was just, if I could have only had a camera, I mean, that would have been just great.
Poor Tom. Oh, goodness.
He was something else. All right. Yeah. So. No
Do you
comment.
want to answer that one?
No comment. Oh man. Try to think of some other stuff that we because we've done so much. I can't. It's just so
too
hard.
Much.
Just great times, no matter what we did. I'm trying to remember. Did you go with us when we went up to Dolly Sods, West Virginia?
No, I wasn't there for that one.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of a fun time because we went up there with PBS, Public Broadcasting System, decided they wanted to do a little, documentary / entertainment kind of thing. So it was kind of fun going up there with those guys. Because some of these places, some of these news medias and stuff just blow it so far out of. It's nice to have level-headed people doing an interview.
Yeah.
So, and trying to think here. So the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, as you said, you're doing a lot of stuff on your own and with a small group now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have any plans on growing that again, or are you just wanting to kind of keep it the way it is?
I'm not sure where that's going to go. We've had a lot of inquiries from people wanting to join, and I'm sure there's a lot of good researchers out there. We're not currently accepting new members. We may be in the future. I don't know for sure, but I'm kind of content where things are right now. I left the group in 2014 due to personal reasons and a fallout with some members, but Sean Forker and a couple other members, Dave Dragazin, kind of talked me into getting back involved with the group in 2020, and we relaunched the PBS as its own entity. It had merged with the Keystone Bigfoot Project, which was Sean Forker's group, and we kind of relaunched in 2020. And we tried to get some more people involved with it, but unfortunately Dave passed away in 2020, and Sean's still doing his thing with the Sasquatch experience and his own research up there, and he's still part of the PBS, and I am as well. You know, we have probably about 20 or 30 members across the state that are still involved. If we get a case come in, I can forward the case off to them, and we still do get cases, but we're nowhere near where we were from 2000 to 2014. We just don't have the membership, and a lot of those people have moved on and gone on their own, separate ways and doing their own things. Some have gotten completely out of the Bigfoot field. So it's still in existence, and I can't say for sure if we're ever going to get back to that place again. I'm pretty content right now with just kind of doing my own thing and working with a small group of people, and I've been doing that since 2014. So yeah,
and we've lost a lot of good researchers too.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have
since we've been gone. I mean, William Dranganis.
Yep.
Which that was pretty hard because he was really, I kind of considered him a mentor because he was right here in Virginia, and him and I used to have long discussions.
Oh yeah,
different things. Larry Batson, we just lost Larry Batson.
Yeah, that was kind of shocking. I talked to Larry about a month before he passed away, and he and I hadn't talked for a while. He called me out of the blue just to check up on me and see how I was doing, and we talked about some of the shows that I engineered for him while he did his podcast show, and then you took over as the engineer, and so we were catching up on things. It was great to talk to him, and I was really sad to hear that he passed away.
Yeah, I talked to him about 2 weeks prior, and he tried to come around and tell me, that he wasn't going to be around, and I told him, I was like, well, Larry, you got Parkinson's. People don't die of Parkinson's. And he goes, well, Billy, you know how Larry talks.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, it's not the Parkinson's, but it's the other issues sometimes that Parkinson's can cause.
Yeah.
And I could tell at that point that what he was trying to tell me was, and then of course we find out later from Cheryl that, being the man that Larry is, eventually he just quit taking the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it was a tragic loss losing Larry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The education work that he was doing with children, and COVID killed a lot of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Him going to the schools. I mean, the kids just loved him.
Yep.
And Absolutely. He did so many years of good work. And that was a great loss.
Yeah, I still remember the first time I met Larry, which I think was in 1997 or 98 at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference in little Coshocton, Ohio, Newcomerstown. And he was one of the speakers there, him and Smokey Crabtree and Lauren Coleman. And it's one of the first Ohio Bigfoot conferences I attended. And he was just so down to earth. And if you remember, he put out those Bigfoot audio journals. He put out 4 cassettes, and I got all 4 from him, and I still have them. And I listen to them quite frequently. They're great pieces of information.
He was a great artist too.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I remember correctly, he's got a few children books that he illustrated himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he was really, really and he was a good person. Like you said, he called you.
Yeah.
He would do that. Periodically he would call everyone he ever was associated with and see how they were doing. It was never about him.
Yeah. We hadn't talked for a good while, and he just called me out of the blue and said, hey, I'm just checking up on you to see how you're doing. And that meant a lot because, we hadn't talked for a couple of years, and then just to call me out of the blue to check on me. Yeah. He was a good guy. He really was.
He was. He really was. Yeah. So there's still a lot of good people out there.
Yeah. There's a few of us left. On the contrary, I'm sure there's people that would highly disagree with that. But nonetheless,
the good thing is you got you got a good partner there that you're working with in Pennsylvania. I don't think he could ask for a better sidekick than Stan Gordon.
Yeah, he's gosh, I've known Stan since I've been 14 years old, and so 40 years I've known him, and I've worked so many cases with him. He's taught me so much. He's like a second father to me, a mentor,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm trying to do with my new partner, Tom Mihawk. He came into the field not knowing much about Bigfoot and cryptozoology, and I kind of took him under my wing, and I'm teaching him, the ropes, and he's doing really well, and he's going to be a great cryptozoologist on his own. But yeah, I'm trying to do what Stan did for me, trying to share my knowledge and experience with him, and that's all you can do. You try to pass things on, and I'm not going to be doing this forever, probably not much longer, but if I can pass something on and teach somebody so they can continue on doing it, that's what I'm going to do.
Right. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to try a little trick here. So let's hope that I don't mess this up. Let's see if I can make this work. Let's see if it'll let me do it. I don't know if it's going to let me do it or not. Oh, look at there. It will. Look at that.
Oh, cool.
Man, I'm like a pro now.
You are.
There's your guest speakers.
Yep. Jay Bachochin, Dave Spink, Stan Gordon, Brian Parsons, Steve Culls, Kenny Biddle, Ron Murphy, Rick Fisher.
Yep. And then we can click over here to special guests. There we got it.
Yep. Ken and Willie and Jeff and Ronnie.
Yeah. That's going to be a good time.
Hopefully.
It really is.
Hopefully.
It really is. Man, look at that. I'm getting to be a pro now. Do it one day, and that's right, Steve. You see that pro work there? He'll be like, yeah, all right, whatever, Billy.
First off, turn off TTC.
Well, let's see. We got another 4 minutes. So what else can we say to really get the point across that people want to get these tickets?
Well, before we do that, there's a question in the chat.
Oh, I didn't see
you and I. Yeah.
Let me put it up. Okay. Okay. What's your thoughts on that, Eric?
I think there may be. I think they're related, but I don't know if there's necessarily a subspecies or more than one species. You would think there'd have to be some kind of genetic breeding, because you've got these creatures seen in all continents of the world, and they can't all be the same species. I think a lot of it's based on location, climate, food source that's going to cause the differences, because there's in the Pacific Northwest, they're seen as being these massive, hulking 7-8 foot tall giants, where here in the East, they're seen as skinny and wiry and muscular and not as bulky and massive as they are in the West. And in Texas, they're shorter. And, I think a lot of it has to do with based on where they're at, their food sources, and maybe even their breeding pool. That might have a lot to do with it too. Whether or not they're different species, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat as far as, I look at it like, even us as humans, we all look different. We got different hair color. We have different skin color. So in Virginia, we've had reports of all black. We've had reports of dark brown, reddish. We've had reports of gray, silver color. That's the majority of them here. But, in other places, they're white. I mean, so, I think, even what Grasshopper says here, I think is a good point, regional differences by environment. They got different food sources. So that in itself can change the way someone looks. Okay, like let's take me for example. I like carbohydrates.
Me too.
Bread,
Me too.
pies, cakes. So I'm pretty large.
Large and in charge.
Some of the Bigfoots out there, maybe they don't have as much to eat. Oh man, yeah, we could have some fun with this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Here's another question.
I don't. I quit caring years ago what people think about me. I've been insulted. I've been trash talked. People say I should be locked up in an institution. I don't care. I'm doing what makes me happy. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting my family. My family and real friends support me, so I just keep doing what I do. People want to think I'm crazy. More power to them.
Well, I tell you, there was something that happened to me a couple weeks ago that really took me by surprise. So I work for the state now, state of Virginia.
She was.
At the Virginia DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality. And I'm going into this, they call it the Emerging Leaders Program, where they put you through a program. It's a 2-year program, and it teaches you, what the entire agency does, teaches you how to do, have leadership skills and that kind of thing. So what they did in the first meeting we had was they asked us, they said, okay, we want you to write down 3 things about yourself, but one of them needs to be a lie. So then we want you to tell 2 truths and 1 lie. And the goal was to convince, the people you were paired up with that all of them are true. So I made my 3. I made my 3. I said 1, I have 3 sons. I said 2, I've worked at the DQ for 4 years. And 3, I'm a Bigfoot researcher. So the first lady that was asked to guess, she goes, okay, I'm just going to say this. I hope to God number 3 is true. That's a government employee.
Nice.
So yeah, it seems like it at the office, because I don't know if you ever saw it, Eric, but I got this plaque that the Washington Post sent me when they had me on the front page of the Washington Post back in, I think it was 2010. So they made this, I got this plaque and I've got it sitting on my desk, and I can't tell you how many, workers come by and they say, and they just want to talk. So far, I haven't been told I'm crazy.
I've been told I'm crazy, but for different reasons. So.
Well, that's okay. Sometimes it's better when you're crazy.
Yeah, maybe. I won't argue with myself.
All right, exactly. All right, so just to kind of summarize everything here. So definitely we want everybody to check out the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Camping Adventure. Again, let me throw this back up. Copy this down. Put this back in here. Here we go. And how do I do that? There we go. Then go back down here. There we go. So there's the website. Check out the website. Check out the guest speakers, the special guests, the workshops, food trucks, karaoke. Hey, just show up for the karaoke. I'd love to just see who all, which one of us can all just sing, just sing our hearts out.
I might call a Bigfoot in.
You never know. You never know. So yeah, if you can definitely make it, please do get on there, check it out,
Yeah,
share it with your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Share it, tell your friends about it, buy tickets. It's a charity fundraiser event. So we're giving back to the community. That's most important.
Right. So if you can be there, certainly do it. I'm going to do my best to be there. So
we hope you can join us.
You still got a tent for me?
Yeah, I'm going to put you in a box truck. Leave the ramp down.
That'll work. Leave the ramp. Perfect. I'll bring Tom with me.
Yeah, and then I'll let a bear loose in the campgrounds.
Eric, I really appreciate you being on the show, especially our comeback show. I couldn't have thought of a better person to have.
So I appreciate that.
Always been a good friend to me. So
likewise, and I'm truly honored to be your comeback guest, and hopefully people will tune in next week. You know, they'll continue to watch it after tonight's fiasco. But
well, see, now I got to find another guest. So if anybody has any suggestions on guests, you can get on facebook.com/
Bill Bracco.
That's right, Grasshopper. See, look, he's even helping me out. Look, let me put that up. There we go. So you can go to if you're a social media person, you can go to facebook.com/ Sasquatch Watch Radio. I've got a thread in there where I've asked if anybody has suggestions on guests. I have had a couple suggestions, so I've got to talk to those two folks, see if they'll come on. And so obviously if you're on the YouTube page, please click the subscribe button. By the way, it doesn't cost a dime. Just click the subscribe button. That way you keep up to date on upcoming shows. And then of course you can look at our archives. And by the way, I've started putting all of the old archived Blog Talk Radio shows all the way back to 2008. I'm now up to 2013. But I still got a couple more years to go. It just takes a while because you have to turn it from MP3 to MP4 in order to put it on YouTube. So
yeah,
takes a little bit of time. So, but yeah, again, facebook.com/ Sasquatch Watch Radio, or our YouTube channel. You can just search for Sasquatch Watch Radio and it'll pop up, and click the subscribe button. I believe a subscribe button ends up showing up on this recording as well at the bottom right, I believe, once this gets posted. So again, Eric, it was a great pleasure having you on. I hope that I didn't insult you so much that you'll never come back.
It's my pleasure, Billy. Thanks for asking. And I'll be on anytime you need me, buddy. Just let me know.
All right. I appreciate it. So everyone, thank you so much. I mean, we had a lot more in here than I thought we would. So I'm flattered that we had a pretty good crowd here tonight. So thank all of you. And eventually we'll hopefully have some good guests on here and keep this entertainment going. So thank you, Eric. Thank you, everyone. And Eric, if you want to just hang on, I'm going to keep both of us on here for a little bit.
Okay.
And then we can talk a little bit after the show.
Sure.
All right. Good night, everybody.